Oh, hi there. I'm Hope. Welcome to my channel and please do subscribe. Hi. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Realized by Hope. My name is Hope, and if you're new here, welcome. And if you're a regular, thank you so much for tuning in. And today we have an informative video on buying an apartment or a house on finance. So please do firstly go watch what to consider before buying a house or an apartment video. I've already uploaded that video right before I uploaded this one, so please go check that one out and come back here for more additional tips. Alright, let's start with the video. So firstly, you have to research the prices of property in the area that you're interested in and check if they are in your income bracket. Remember, we talked about financial considerations as well as neighborhood and community considerations. So that is just you checking out the area and if the area is in your price range as well. Then secondly, you have to find an agent, a real estate agent, to help you with the paperwork and to help you with looking for the property. And then after you find the agent, then you will go view properties. Obviously, you're going to have to go see them in person. I do advise that you do not only stick to just agreeing on a property just based on the pictures that are uploaded, because some people use pictures that are a bit older or that way of the previous condition before the condition of the property changed. So it is very advisable for you to go there in person, see the place in person, have a feel of the place, picture yourself living there. Is it going to work for you? Okay. And nextly, you have to check how much the bank is offering you once you have found a property that you're interested in, that you want to put in an effort to put an offer on. Then you have to check how much the banks that are obviously offering you finance, how much they're offering you, because they might not offer you the amount that is worth the property, and you might have to go look for a different property at a different price point. So you do have to check how much the bank is offering you, and obviously that will also depend on you maintaining a good credit score. So if you do not have a credit score, please make sure that 3 months prior your consideration of taking anything on finance, either it be property or a car, make sure you open an account, like a clothing account at any clothing store. It can be Truworth, wherever, Woolworth, anywhere where you can open an account that will show that you're trustworthy in payments and that you pay on time and you pay the full amount on time. Then after that, you have to consider the bank that you are banking with to fund you the mortgage bond, because you can monitor the bond on your bank app. So that is an advantage. If the bank that you're banking with currently, the one where you receive your salary, the one where you receive your money, if that bank is also offering you finance for your property, please do consider that one, because it's easy for you to monitor what's going on with your bond payments on your banking app. Whereas if you choose another different bank, you won't be able to have such an advantage of monitoring that on your phone. So that's just something to consider. And then the sixth thing is to have a down payment or transfer cost, and you have to have about 50,000 to 60,000 rand to be safe, but this may depend on the attorney charges or the price of the property, so you need to have a little room for more. It could be less, it could be around the same price point that I mentioned, but it could also be more, because it differs depending on what the attorneys are going to charge you and the size of the property. The bigger the size, the more the more paperwork is needed and the more expensive things cost. All right, so nextly, we have, if you don't have the money for transfer cost, you can ask the bank if they can pay for you, which will be included in your bond money. So if you don't have the money cash, you just basically ask the bank that has offered you and the bank that you were willing to use to have that mortgage bond with. You just have to ask them to add that money, the transfer cost, to your mortgage bond. That way you will pay for it when they take monthly installments for the bond that you will be paying for. So you don't have to worry about having the cash instantly right there and then. If you don't have the cash, please do not be discouraged. You can still go over a property on finance and just have the bank included in on your fees. And then nextly, you have to transfer the transfer of ownership. Takes about 3 months. So this is after you have chosen the property, accepted the offer from the bank, and dealt with your transfer costs. It will take about 3 months. It could be less, it could be more, but mainly usually it's around 3 months, where you would find that you have to wait for 3 months while they're busy changing your ownership before you could move into the property. So remember that when you are looking for a place to stay, you have 3 months of a plan of where you'd be staying while you wait for the process and paperwork to be completed. And then after handed the document, go to municipality to pay the municipal service like electricity account, and that could be approximately 5,000 rand cash. Then you can go to municipality and submit documents for change of ownership, and the cost may vary depending on the municipality. So that could also be roughly around 3,000 rand. So you have to keep in mind these additional charges and this additional cost when you're buying the property. It's not just about the property that you're going to have on finance. Yes, it's on finance, but then the other things to get settled, for like electricity, your water, municipal services, garbage disposal, these things you have to pay for in cash right there and then when you're about to move in. And then the next thing, I just want to give you a few highlights on some disadvantages of when you're buying a house or an apartment on finance, or even when you're just buying a house and apartment, but this one mainly refers to finance. So when inflation rises, the monthly bond increases. For example, if you were set to pay 8,000 rand, that is before inflation rises, and then inflation rises, the bank will deduct during inflation. They will increase the monthly bond due to the inflation. So if you're paying 8,000 rand, you could now end up paying like 10,000 rand or 12,000 rand depending on the inflation of the country, so you have to keep that in mind. And the advice is to have room for unforeseen charges due to inflation when you are purchasing on finance. So the main thing here is try to find a property that will still have room for like 4,000 rand from your salary, that if inflation rises and they tell you have to add like 3,000 rand to your monthly bond, will you still be comfortable in that expense bracket? So that's what you have to consider whenever you are dealing with finance. And then the other disadvantages is that you have to prepare to pay levy, which differs depending on the area, security system expenses, maintenance costs such as gardening, cleaning, and the security guard. And then you also have to prepare to pay municipal rates monthly, and this depends on the value of the property. So I can't really give you a guess on that. And then you have to prepare to pay water and electricity as well. Do not forget, like some people forget that, okay, you included all the financing of your property costs and all these other costs, and then you forget that at the end of the day you still have to pay for your electricity and your water while staying at the property. So please keep open mind to that and room for that. And then also check if the water and electricity is prepaid or a municipal one. Advisable factor here, please opt for prepaid, because when there's load shedding or there's no water, the bill doesn't continue running, it stops, and then it continues running when you are making use of the service. So if it is the municipal one, then it will obviously cost you more. There's an average price, and then when you go over the price, or when you use more than an average household, then the prices like inflates highly. So you have to keep in mind whether the electricity and water is prepaid or municipal one, and you have to check the safety of the area, stuff like that. And then I have some additional advice as well. When you are checking out the property, before you make a decision on this is the property or I'm taking this property, right, please check the electrical system, like the plugs, if they are working. Is there an approved certificate from an electrician? You have to ask for such things. You can ask from the real estate agent, and the real estate agent will obviously talk to the owner. And you also have to check all the windows and doors if they are functional because they might be closed when you go view, or they might be open when you go view, and you find that they don't close fully, or there's some problem, and you will have to bear the cost of that after you take that property. So you have to check those things. You have to check if all the keys are they in good condition. You also have to check for mold and ask about the history of mold. Has this property ever had a history of mold in the bathrooms, most especially, or areas where it's usually raining? For example, if you want to purchase a property in Cape Town, you know that the weather there is crazy, it's always raining. So wherever there's wet weather almost all the time, there is more likelihood of mold. so you have to consider that as well. And then you can also check for fiber and dish installation if it is already there, because if it is not, that it will be on your cost. When you move in, you still have to deal with fiber connections and your dish installation, so just check that out as well. And then lastly, you can check if there's a water leakage in the taps, and also ask if there are any hidden issues in the property that you have to be aware of, stuff like that. Please make sure you check closely, check things that that you use but then you don't keep in mind when you're viewing an apartment. That is for the property that you would have settled your mind to, that you feel like this is the one you want to take. Please check for all the small things, because they will be your cost to deal with later on when you move in. So that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got to learn some new information that you were not aware of. And if you have any questions, please leave them by the comment section. If you know anything that I did not mention as well, please leave it by the comment section. That will help another fellow mate. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.